It's been 6 months since I finished the Part-Time YouTuber Academy, and I'm happy to report that I'm on my way to 10,000 subscribers. We've hit monetization and we're starting to make so much money. Just kidding, guys. I only wish my channel has seen that much success. But if you've clicked on this video, there's a good chance you are interested in taking the Part-Time YouTuber Academy. And if you haven't heard of the Part-Time YouTuber Academy yet, there's a good chance you're probably looking up how to get started on YouTube, maybe Googling some tutorials. And if you don't fall into either of those two categories, you're either my mom, dad, brother, or sister, in which case, hi guys, I love you. Or you are an Ali Abdaal fangirl, in which case, you do you, boo. Hi there, my name's Bex. I'm a Canadian graphic designer, hobby baker, and sometimes gamer, and for the last 6 months I have been a part-time YouTuber. In this video we're going to be talking about my experience with Ali Abdaal's Part-Time YouTuber Academy. So I've conveniently broken out this video into 6 different C's. We're going to be talking about the content, the commitment, the community, the cost of the program. We'll chat about some of the constraints that I experienced taking this course, and finally we will have a conclusion where we will chat about my overall thoughts, maybe spill some tea on Ali himself, just for you fangirls out there. And finally, we will decide whether or not I would recommend the Part-Time YouTuber Academy to a friend. Spoiler alert, guys, I would definitely recommend it. If you do decide to sign up for the Part-Time YouTuber Academy, I would love it if you use the cheeky little affiliate link down in the description below. This will definitely help out my channel here, and also it would show Ali that I actually did learn something from his course. So first and foremost though, let's just chat quickly about what the Part-Time YouTuber Academy is. The Part-Time YouTuber Academy is a 6-week live online course where Ali teaches us everything he knows about how to build and grow your own YouTube channel into a sustainable machine that churns out valuable content and generates healthy passive income for you without you even having to quit your job. Before we get into the 6 C's about PTYA, I wanted to kind of preface this with a pre-C, or context. So I think it's important to know exactly where I was experiencing the course from. So for me, I was what Ali calls a serious beginner. I spent hours and hours a day consuming so much YouTube content, constantly thinking, man, I could totally do this. This would be so much fun. In one of these never-ending content consumption cycles, I happened to stumble across one of Ali's videos,
which brings us to an overall grand total of £1,013,000, which for the Americans among us is 1.362 million US dollars.
I was like, no way. Why am I not doing this? I know I can do this. I just need to get started. And then by what I'm calling some divine intervention from the Twitter gods, I was scrolling through Twitter and I happened to see Ali tweeted that his cohort 2 of the Part-Time YouTuber Academy was starting, and I was super intrigued. It was only a couple days away. I set a calendar reminder. The day came, I sacrificed an arm and a leg, and boom, I was enrolled in cohort 2. At the point of the course starting, I had one video published on my YouTube channel, and I had streamed on Twitch maybe a couple of times. So I was definitely a beginner. Let's chat about the content that is covered in the course. There was a lot of it, a lot. In cohort 2, the course ran for 6 weeks, and each week there were 2 live sessions that lasted between 60 to 90 minutes each. The very last session, of course, in that 6th week was a celebration session, so it wasn't really like content heavy, but it was still, there was still the time commitment for it. Each session was jam-packed with content. The curriculum was really well laid out. Ali and his team took time to make sure each session was well labeled and it was all quite snappy and well put together, which I really appreciated. We learned about idea generation, where Ali taught us 8 or 9 different ways that you can create ideas for different content. We talked a lot about finding our niche, which really was just an exercise in personal reflection and figuring out what makes us tick. It was looking at things like, what are you good at? What do your friends think you're good at? How can you turn those topics into content for others to enjoy and learn from? So one of the points that really stuck out to me in this session was to consider your target audience as who you were 5 years ago. What would you have wanted to know? What would have made your life easier? And can you create content around that to help others who may be in that same position? This target audience session was super beneficial. Ali had some really great workshops to work through that I still am going back to in my Notion database to continue filling out and fleshing out, especially as I'm still kind of struggling on that whole niche thing because I'm just being stubborn, but that's a whole nother conversation. It was just nice that there was productive work that we could take away from these sessions and actually start digging into what are we trying to accomplish with our YouTube channels. Some other topics that Ali taught us about was constructing scripts and creating your videos. We talked a lot about using the Hives framework, which is a really helpful framework when you're scripting out your videos. Ali actually has a free Notion template, so you don't even need to take PTYA to kind of start skimming through the content. Of course, there was also a lot of content about the technical side of YouTube, what camera you should use, how to get your microphone set up, how to edit. You get access to Ali's Skillshare course on using Final Cut Pro. As a graphic designer, I use the Adobe suite quite a bit, so throughout the course I was using Premiere Pro to try and dive into the video editing process. I have since switched to Final Cut Pro, which I think has made my process way easier, but that's just me, that's what worked for me. Every session there would be a good chunk of time dedicated to a Q&A.
Half an hour of Q&A. And yeah, Angus and Elizabeth keep telling me I should be more professional. Like, Ali, you can't just eat pizza on camera.
You could ask any question that you had about your YouTube journey or where you were at or the course content, and Ali would take the time to answer your question. Another huge section of the course was all about repurposing your content and monetizing your channel and the different ways you can do that. Of course, as a serious beginner, this was quite a ways beyond where I was at, but it was so nice to get the information to kind of know beforehand. One of my biggest takeaways from the course was this whole concept of reducing friction. I forget what session it was in, but Ali was talking about how if you're struggling to get the content out or finish the homework assignments, you need to look at ways to reduce friction when it comes to filming. Can you leave your lights set up so you don't have to take them down and set them up before you start filming? Can you dedicate a section of your house to filming your YouTube videos? What are some ways that you can reduce the friction and kind of eliminate the excuses and make it so you can just sit down and film? And by reducing friction, you are setting yourself up for success. And so Ali really only was talking about reducing friction in terms of YouTube, but this particular lesson I think I've really taken to heart and have applied throughout my life in various different ways in the 6 months since the course completed. I've completely decluttered my closet to only be black, white, and pink, just so I don't have to worry about my clothes matching or think about what I'm gonna wear. I know whatever I grab out of my closet, it's gonna match, which has been really helpful. Another way I've reduced friction in my life is by using Good Food, which is a meal delivery kit in Canada here. I really, really love Good Food. It makes my life so much easier. I have a whole video about it, so be sure to check that out if you're interested. But yeah, this whole concept of reducing friction, yes, it was meant in the terms of filming videos, but it's really a life lesson that has completely changed so many aspects of my life in the past 6 months. So I'm really grateful for that. Overall, I really, really appreciated the amount of content that Ali provides in the Part-Time YouTuber Academy. I know a lot of people may have found the content overwhelming, but the really great thing is that you don't have to attend the live sessions. You can attend as many as you want until you kind of reach your content capacity, and then all of the recordings are there for you to review at your own pace, and you have a lifetime access to the recordings. So it really, really does make it easy for you to process the content at your own pace. All right, so let's chat about commitment. We're gonna break this section into 3 different areas. We're gonna talk about the time commitment, we're gonna talk about accountability and the commitment that that brings, and then of course we're going to address Ali's 2-year mantra that he repeats endless times throughout the course.
Really, as I'm gonna keep on reiterating this, like this entire course is oriented around just upload 1 video a week.
It may be called the Part-Time YouTuber Academy, but do not be fooled. It is definitely a full-time commitment. Between the live sessions, the power hours, the homework club, dealing with the fact that all you're thinking about is YouTube because you're just so excited to finally be started on this journey, you spend a lot of time just working through the content and participating in the events and attending guest workshops. It is a lot of time. Now, there are ways to alleviate that pressure. Ali really recommends getting an editor pretty soon out the gate. In fact, it's part of one of the homework assignments. For me, as a serious beginner, I have control issues and I don't know my style and I'm insecure about sending ridiculous raw footage to editors. And while I understand the principle of the whole concept of outsourcing editing, I'm really just enjoying this whole process and developing my style. And I really do enjoy the editing process as well. Being a part-time part-time YouTuber is a lot of work, and in the time commitment part, you definitely have to make sacrifices. But if you're conscious of the time commitment that you're gonna have to make and you're committed to investing the time in yourself and your YouTube journey, I think the course and the time commitment, it's definitely worth it. It's a lot, and I think you need to have that expectation going into it. It's not really part-time. It's a lot. It's a lot of time. So yeah, there's that. So on the positive side of that time commitment though, personally, I loved the accountability that the live sessions brought into my life. Having those 2-hour chunks of time blocked off in my calendar meant that no matter what, I was gonna show up. I was gonna spend those 2 hours learning about this YouTube journey, getting started, and really just investing in myself. And for whatever reason, having it blocked off in my calendar felt like it gave me the permission to actually commit to it and spend the time working on it. I think if it was a self-paced online course, I probably wouldn't have been as committed. I wouldn't have made sure I attended the courses or scheduled them out myself. I just don't really work that way. So having to attend the live sessions and wanting to participate in those definitely was a positive in terms of commitment. The final aspect of commitment that we're going to chat about is Ali's 2-year mantra.
Again, just the main reminder is that the content does not matter. What matters is that you publish one video every week and do this consistently for the next 2 to 10 years.
Of course, there's some other things you can do to impact your journey along the way, but it's really about the long game here on YouTube, especially if you're just getting started and you're learning all these new skills. If you're expecting a get-rich-quick scheme or a blow-up-right-away scheme, the Part-Time YouTuber Academy is not that. It's about building a system that will help you churn out high-quality content week after week, and eventually you will start to see some growth. The PTYA community is by far my favorite aspect of the Part-Time YouTuber Academy. In the community wins thread, there are so many posts, more than 300 of people who have experienced some sort of win in their part-time YouTuber journey, and it's just so amazing to see. Just to name a few, so far Cora has gone viral, Marshall has increased his subscriber count tenfold, Julian's channel is absolutely skyrocketing, and that's really honestly just the surface. With the community, there is just so many inspiring people all on this same journey of wanting to pursue YouTube and grow their channels. The really, really cool thing is that everyone has a different interest or different niche or different level of expertise in their given subject matter. And there's not much of a competitive vibe at all, I find, in the community. Everyone really just wants the best for each other, and they're so willing to help and share and just help each other grow. And it's really just such a positive, creative environment that I absolutely love. So as far as community throughout the course, every day there would be a power hour where people would tune in and work on their YouTube videos. Each week there would be homework clubs where people would sign into Zoom and really just sit there and get work done on their YouTube videos, all the while seeing all of these beautiful faces on their screen. And for me, that was the lightest glimpse of hope in the dark treachery that was working from home, pandemic, COVID. For some reason, I'm one of those weird people that I get way more work done when I'm around other people who are also working. If I am sitting by myself, there's a good chance that I'm staring at a wall. So that's not overly productive. So I really did appreciate the homework clubs. Throughout the course, you're also encouraged to find an accountability partner or an accountability group to help hold you accountable to some of your own goals and things that you would like to accomplish on your YouTube journey. 6 months later, my accountability group still meets every Sunday. We chat about our goals for our upcoming week and what we're hoping to make happen for our YouTube channel. Now, I definitely don't make as many sessions as I would like to. I am oddly busy Sundays at noon, but I am so grateful to still be a part of this group and to attend when I can. We have a group chat between everyone in the accountability group, and I'm always so inspired when people share what they've posted or, share what they've learned or chat about what they're struggling with that week. Having someone to go through this YouTube journey with really makes all the difference. So the course uses a platform called Circle, which is kind of like this online community-based platform.
Circle is where all the interesting stuff happens on the course. It's where you submit your video assignments. It's where we give you feedback on stuff. It's where other people give you feedback. It's where you ask questions. It's where we answer questions. Basically, all of the cool things happen on Circle.
There is a Q&A thread where you can ask any question, and either someone from the community or Ali or someone on the PTYA team will give you an answer. There's a lot of gear recommendations, gear information. There's just so much interaction on Circle, and it really is the gateway to connect with other people who are participating in the Part-Time YouTuber Academy. 6 months later, the PTYA community still uses Circle. Ali and the PTYA team are still working to make sure the community experience is top-notch. They're always looking for ways to improve it and build engagement and keep people encouraged on this Part-Time YouTuber Academy journey. Ali continually brings in guests for guest workshops that, as a PTYA alumni, part of the community, you can attend. And right now, Elizabeth is hosting a really cool 10-week video challenge. I personally love the 10-week video challenge because it builds that accountability and puts things back in my calendar. For whatever reason, just doing it for myself sometimes is not enough. So that 10-week challenge is super great and super encouraging, and I really, really do appreciate that aspect of the community. So the best part about the community on Circle is that it's available to everyone. So basically you go through your cohort with a set group of people, but then on Circle, all of the cohorts are there. So anyone who is still actively participating in the community, you get to interact with, you can give them feedback, you can ask them for feedback. It's just really, really a great place to build that PTYA community. The connections you make, the people you meet, and the community that Ali and his team are trying to build really do make PTYA worth it, in my opinion. But you have to remember, you get out what you put in. If you're not gonna engage on Circle, if you're not gonna provide feedback, if you're not gonna make those connections, chances are you're not gonna find this community as valuable as I do. If you're considering taking PTYA, I highly, highly, highly recommend to be active on Circle, be engaged, provide feedback, chat with people, and make the connections. It truly does make a world of difference. All right, down to the nitty-gritties. Let's chat about the cost. So PTYA has a tiered membership type program registration. There's the essentials package, the premium package, and also the executive package. As you move up the packages, the cost increases, but you get more perks to it. But for me, I was a serious beginner. I just needed to get started. I didn't have anything for all those fancy bells and whistles. I just wanted kind of the basics. I wanted the system to create the success for my YouTube channel. So I just signed up for the essentials package. It was great for me. After the cost conversion, it ended up being around $2,000 because the Canadian dollar is what it is. PTYA also does offer a scholarship program. If the cost is too steep, you can definitely apply for the scholarship and hopefully maybe see some success there. So is the cost worth it? Personally, for me, I would say 100% it is. If you have a creative business, there's a good chance you can write it off as training or education, and ultimately it is an investment in you and your creative pursuits. And if this is something that you're passionate about and you play that long game and you stick to it for 2 years, there's a really good chance you're gonna see such a massive return on investment in terms of the money. But for me personally, the return on investment goes so much further than just the dollars that I get back into the bank account. I gained so much knowledge that I can apply to further my creative pursuits. I gained so much experience by being in the course. I got to experience what building an online community was like, what worked, what didn't. I got to see how an online course was run. So if I ever decide to develop something like that in the future, I have firsthand experience of what it could look like. I got access to so many great YouTubers like Thomas Frank and Jack Edwards through Ali's network of people that he knows. He would bring them in for guest workshops and we'd get to ask Q&As. And that's just access and connections that I wouldn't have had otherwise. So to me, I find the value that you get out of the course, regardless of the money that you potentially could make from YouTube, it's so beyond worth it. Most importantly for me, I think you're also paying to be committed. When you put that much money on the line, there is no way that you're not gonna show up and do the work because it's a lot of money, it really is. But the other great part about that is that everyone else there also paid that much money to be there. So they're also committed. So it's this big group of people who are committed to making their dreams happen. And I think with a free course, you really wouldn't get that type of commitment and that level of energy. So to me, having the cost be what it is, you really streamline the group to be a bunch of people who are committed to seeing this through. And ultimately that improves the experience for absolutely everybody. Constraints. Fancy word for saying things I did not like about the course. We needed a C word. We came up with constraints. Really, there was only one thing about PTYA that was actually kind of a challenge for me, and it really boiled down to time zones. So as we all know, Ali is a doctor based in Cambridge, which means he's in the UK. I live in Edmonton, Alberta. That is a 7-hour time difference. I'm 7 hours behind the UK. So that meant that power hours were hosted at 1 a.m. So I never went to them because I would have to be sleeping from my day job. Another power hour was hosted at 7 a.m. and I am a monster from a different planet that early in the morning, so I didn't make those either. But as far as the live sessions go, the team really does make a good effort to make sure they're scheduled at a time where most people can make it. They were 10 a.m. for me, which was perfectly fine. I just rearranged my work schedule a little bit to make sure I could be there. Another negative thing about the time zones that I'll say is that there's people from all over the world, but I would say the good chunk is from the UK. So that means that a lot of the people that you could interact real time with, they're just also not on the same time zone as you. If I'm working on YouTube stuff at 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night, it's like 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning in the UK, and people likely aren't working on their YouTube channels unless they're pulling all-nighters. Of course, with Circle, you can respond to comments and posts and things like that, but I did find that I felt as though I missed out almost because my time zone was so different. So, would I recommend the Part-Time YouTuber Academy to somebody? Absolutely, but you have to be willing to put in the work. If you are a serious beginner and you're not willing to invest time and energy into creating your YouTube channel, then the Part-Time YouTuber Academy probably isn't gonna help you. Am I now a massively successful YouTuber with tens of thousands of followers? No, but ultimately that doesn't reflect the course. Ali can only do so much. It is up to you to put the work in and to adjust your life and integrate the system. If you are thinking of this YouTuber journey, it is hard, it is long, it is a lot of grinding, and it sucks if you are doing it alone. So I think the connections that you make and the system that you learn is so valuable. If you decide to sign up for the Part-Time YouTuber Academy, please use my affiliate link in the description. It would help me so much, and it really would show Ali that this is a valuable video and you guys are finding this helpful when it comes to whether or not you're gonna take the course. If you do take the course, I would love to hear your thoughts down below. So now, of course, I promise to spill some tea on Ali himself. And honestly, guys, I have to tell you, if you've ever watched a Q&A with Sheen or Elizabeth over on Ali's channel, he is exactly that person in all of the live sessions. He makes himself so available to answer any questions you may have. He's so transparent with his analytics. He talks so openly about things they're learning or trying with their channel, things they tried that completely tanked. This transparency, I think, is really refreshing to see. So if you made it all the way to the end of the video, you are a superhero. Thank you so much for sticking around. I hope you found this really valuable. That is all from me. If you want, you should check out this video on how YouTube made me quit my job, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.